Whether you have a diagnosis or not, I don't care. I'll teach you how to find what's causing your health struggles using the blood work you already have, right here on this podcast. But also in my new book, Why Are My Labs Normal? Go grab it on Amazon and let me know you love it and appreciate the knowledge by leaving a review for the book and for this podcast. This podcast is sponsored by my favorite supplement companies, Systemic Formulas and My Biome. Come join me inside their private Facebook group for practitioners called Systemic Formulas Clinical Nutrition. For everybody else, go join them on Instagram at Systemic Formulas. All right, let's get started. Welcome to the Beyond the Diagnosis podcast with me, Dr. Kylie. Dr. Anna is here with us today, and she has a book that was just released called MenuPause. Go grab it at dranna.com/menupause. And as you can guess, we're going to talk about menopause today. Dr. Anna, welcome.
Hi, it's great to be here with you. Thanks for having me, Dr. Kylie.
Yeah, I love your accent. I didn't catch that accent before until just barely. But let's talk about menopause and maybe let's talk about some myths regarding menopause first.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think the first thing is that, one thing that I always tell people is menopause is natural, suffering is optional. The most important thing to understand is that every woman will go through it. It's a natural transformation. It's nothing to be ashamed of, and it's not something to be medically, subdued or suppressed, because just as important as puberty is for that life cycle, for changing into our hormones and that time of life, that rewiring that happens in puberty, there's another type of transformation that's happening in menopause as well. And so, you'll have so many different fears around it and a lot of symptoms that can come up around it. But one thing that I know for sure is that when we heal the body, empower the body to heal itself, we can breeze through menopause into what I like to call the second spring of our lives, right? We can spring into the second spring of our lives. And that's what I want people to know. We don't have to suffer. We don't have to power through. And we certainly don't have to be quiet about it. There are options, and there are natural options.
The second spring of life. I don't know why, but I've never thought about menopause like puberty. And it literally is just a change of our bodies that's natural as for us women.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think this is where, we know now that using birth control pills earlier than age 16 really has can have chronic long-term effects, can worsen PMS, worsen menstrual cycles, can worsen immune system. It's a hormone disruptor, can increase your risk for breast cancer. These are things that are traumatic. So suppressing that rewiring at puberty, it's damaging. And so I really believe that suppressing our rewiring during menopause is damaging, but we can breeze through. We don't have to suffer through it. Like, I'm just going to suffer through this. No, I believe in using bioidentical hormones, using food as medicine, and lifestyle hacks that really can empower us. And when I say using bioidentical hormones, Dr. Kylie, I don't mean like, let's just suppress your ovarian production. Let's replace everything you have. I'm more about getting your body to make your own hormones naturally, and then replenishing the supply as we need it.
That's my kind of woman. I guess so many people where it's just, it's really easy. And now in Utah, I don't know if you've been here, but you'll see this when you come here. There are hormone replacement therapy clinics all over the place. And it's really easy to just say, oh, well, you have low T, here's some low T. And take it for the rest of your life because your body's never going to make it again.
Right. If we suppress it.
Is, why do you have low T? And then, if needed, replenish the supply. I love that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I think that's one thing, because I've been in this space for, since 2004, working in bioidentical hormones and sexual medicine and figuring out like compounding hormones. So it's been a while now. And I've consulted on some of the major, like say testosterone replacing clinics. And as a physician, and the biggest thing that I say is when, hormones affect your physiology, and physiology affects your behavior, right? And, I would ask, what's your divorce rate at this clinic? And that very high, over and over again, ran into very high divorce rates at the clinics. Testosterone can increase novelty seeking behavior, can also increase anger and aggression. And it's really important for people to understand that, because we can replace testosterone to really high levels that will make you do things that you wouldn't normally ever think about or consider doing, or contribute to those thought patterns. And so that's not the idea. When our patients come to us as physicians, ideally they want to rekindle their relationship, and they want a long, healthy, happy life and intimate sex life and quality of life, and all of those pieces that become really important, especially the older we get, the people we hang around with, the love that we've created, and to be able to feel that back, versus what I've seen is often way too high testosterone levels and not conducive to a healthy relationship. But it's sold the other way.
Yeah, and you're so dead right. And yet I've never thought about that either. When you ask a clinic, well, what's your divorce rates for your patients? Really high. You're putting them on some really high levels of testosterone, men and women?
Men and women. And women. Yep. It goes both ways, for sure.
What are some red flags that you've seen
So
with people taking hormones?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. There are many. I think the one thing, knowing that hormones affect your physiology affects your behavior, that key piece helped me counsel my patients. First, I didn't see it. I started to observe it. And as I started to observe it, I started to counsel patients, okay, we want a sweet spot here, not too high, not too low. And if you start experiencing more anger or, distracted thoughts or anything out of your norm, please let me know. And I had a gentleman who was, a client's husband that had come to see me, and he was a vice president of a huge Fortune 5 company. And he started, I worked with him and his wife, and I said to him, if you have any strange thoughts, let me know. Anyway, gave him my spiel. And he called me up about 6 weeks later. He goes, Dr. Anna, I'm having thoughts about another woman that I don't need to be thinking. And I wouldn't typically, this is not my norm. This is not what I want to do. Or, I feel like something's wrong. And I said, let me, stop your testosterone right now. Tell me how much you were taking. Let's check some labs. And it turned out he was just reading the syringe wrong. So he was injecting more than he needed. And so his testosterone level was 1,300 or something. And I find the sweet spot for men at 600 to 900. It really depends, but somewhere around there is the sweet spot. So that was really good that he had the awareness to call me. And I'll never forget that, because that's how powerful what we do, how we intervene, especially in biohacking and functional medicine. And let's do, these supplements, take these hormones. That's a huge red flag when you start acting out of your norm. And then that can be aggression, anger, novelty seeking behaviors, out of character thoughts. It can be depression, can be mood swings, can be more sensitive, crying more, emotional. And those are also red flags that hormones are out of balance, but also that there's likely inflammation going on. We need to support neurotransmitters more. It tells you something. Everything is so connected that it's, I think this is what we miss in our medical education systems. And also, with the brief amount of time we have with our patients, how do we communicate this? But one of the things that we know, always remembering this part, that physiology affects behavior. I have a woman who worked with me, and her son was in and out of psychiatric hospitals. And I said, you need to get to a functional neurologist or a functional psychiatrist, because they look at your labs, they look at your blood work, they look at your neurotransmitters, they look at inflammatory markers. And so she took her young teenage son to a functional neurologist, and within 2 weeks, after being in 4 mental hospitals, right? Within 2 weeks, he was like feeling amazing. He was going outside, calling up friends. He was happy. He was feeling just completely different. It turned out he had high levels of ammonia. His detoxification pathways were impaired. Started working on that with supplementation and some other things like infrared sauna and hydration and electrolytes and just really working on those detoxification patterns. And he's like a whole new man. I mean, within 2 weeks, he was feeling so much better, and he's a couple months out. And this in the last 10 years of his life, he's been struggling. He's been struggling and under one psychiatric med after the next, and the next, and all dealing with side effects for those and having a walk on eggshell type of household. And she said, his mom said, because we're family again. We're family again. That's why we're in medicine. We want to nurture that feeling of connection, of health, of longevity, and be able to have the memory and bandwidth, to appreciate that. So I think that's the biggest red flag people miss. And the same is true in menopause, psychiatric diagnoses, anxiety, depression, bipolar. I mean, just name the psychiatric diagnoses. It's hormonal, it's physiologic. And don't ever take a prescription without getting really good functional blood work, my opinion.
I'm a big fan of blood work. We could talk blood work for hours. I don't see people unless I see their blood work. And that's a big scenario.
Right.
I mean, I'm in Utah. We have probably some of the highest rates, if not the highest rate of antidepressants.
Wow. I had no idea. I thought, yeah.
Welcome to the good old state of Utah.
That's
we have really high rates of teenager suicide too. And I always wonder, what if functional medicine isn't accepted very well here? What if we tried a different route first, rather than just saying, oh, you need an antidepressant, or blaming some teenager that they have anxiety and depression? What if we tried a different way, just like you mentioned? It was ammonia. His detox systems were struggling. No wonder why his brain is out of whack. It's literally being poisoned.
Right.
And yet we are so quick and so apt to just, okay, fine, I'll take the antidepressant you hand me over. And then you talk to people who are antidepressants, you see commercials. Hey, if your antidepressant isn't working, maybe you should try this one too. And you just get in the cycle, the roller coaster ride of prescription.
We're one of thyroid. Well, and definitely let's talk about thyroid. One of the things that just blew my mind is that I didn't realize, I was just in Europe, I didn't realize that we're one of the only countries in the world that allows pharma to directly market to the consumer.
Really? I didn't realize that either. I'm just going to take a big deep breath. And how much better could we be if pharma was staying out of our commercials and our TV? Because I'll say to you, go talk to your doctor about this. Go ask your dermatologist about this.
Well, I will share with you, Dr. Kylie, that when my firstborn was only 7 years old, she came to me one day. She goes, Mom, I need DETROLLA. That's Detrol LA. It's a medication I prescribed for bladder urgency symptoms, when you have to feel like you have to rush to the bathroom and go. And she at 7 realized, like, oh my gosh, I have all those symptoms. I have to rush to the bathroom and go. And I need this drug. She was brainwashed at 7 without me even being aware of it, in early 2000, that here this TV commercial was telling her she needed a drug to make her behave differently, right? So that she didn't have to rush to the bathroom. I'm like, no, girl, we just had sweet tea, and you can't have that, and no sodas, and we have to cut out the sugar. I mean, these are lifestyle hacks, but it was that light bulb went on. Oh my gosh. First of all, she has these symptoms. We need to address that with food as medicine first. Secondly, my daughter was just brainwashed
And
by a TV commercial.
And now think about how much better they're at it right now in 2022. And they're seeing it on YouTube and everything else that kids are on. Geez, that makes me hesitate. I have a 5-year-old. Like, what's he getting in?
Well, and then at lunchroom tables, because I would go to lunch with my youngest, my last born, and in her second grade classroom, sit at the lunch table, and I would say out of a table of 18, 6 or 8 of them got up and said, we have to go to the nurse. And I said, what are you going for? And she goes, I have to get my medicine to make me be good.
Oh.
I know. Let's just take another deep breath. So the same happening with menopause, like, okay, well, you need this estrogen, you need this. And really, there's a part of that we benefit from, certainly. But ultimately, the lifestyle, the control we take on a moment by moment, day by day, week by week, month by month, year by year basis that is in our control is going to have the biggest impact on the quality of life and our longevity and our relationships for the long run. And that's what I've been biohacking for the last 15 years through my own messes and my own journey, and finding, okay, what's the right way to address the underlying root cause so that I can be the best me at every age, and the best mom, and the best boss, and in the best health, the best lover. I mean, all of these things, like, how can I be the best of those things? And, and it be from me, our power. And I don't like it when medicine and pharma is taking that power away. And start with the consumer, go to the physician, go to the systems, and we're losing power. So your audience, my audience, women, men I meet, very intelligent, very intelligent. We need to claim that power back.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about menopause. We've done some myths now. What are some tips that you could say to help people thrive through menopause, whether they're 40, 35, or hitting in the middle of it, 50?
Yep. And
by the way, Dr. Anna, what age should they be hitting menopause in?
Yeah, that's typically, according to our literature, average age of menopause is 52 years old. If you're a smoker, it's 42. And so we know that, and if you have an autoimmune disease, 42 average age. So it's earlier by a decade. So, and I would just add that number is all over the place, because the duration of the time period before you go through menopause, and it varies. It varies so much. I mean, people can be symptomatic for 15, 20 years. And so early symptoms of PMS, irregular menstrual cycles, anxiety, depression, mood swings, breakthrough bleeding, all of those things are red flags that, okay, I'm out of balance. I need to heal my physiology, and I've got to do it. And I've got to do it quicker. And hot flashes, night sweats, difficulty sleeping, all of those things are telling you, warning you, look, you're not breezing through menopause. Let's look and see what we can do to support you, create a safe container, improve your physiology, decrease inflammation, balance hormones, so that you breeze through menopause into the second spring of your life. And for me, like, foundationally, Dr. Kylie, and I know you're right on board with this, it's foundationally what I realized is that as our physiology shifts, as our estrogen, progesterone predominantly starts to decline, our body's ability to use fuel changes. And so our body's ability to use glucose for fuel changes, because there's a hormone dependency to gluconeogenesis, to the use of glucose for fuel. And so that's a big eye opener for me, because when I was going through, call it my second menopause at 48, and I was spiraling down. I had the brain fog. I had the weight gain without doing anything different. And the mood swings, irritability. I mean, just like everything, it just felt like chaos. And I slept 3 hours a night. I mean, just one thing after the other. And so as I recognized, okay, I have to shift. And that's where I delved into alkaline diet, combining it with ketogenic diet, that shift, getting into ketosis using ketones for fuel is game changing. That's the light bulb goes on, your energy's high. And why? It's because the use of ketones for fuel is not hormone dependent. It's not hormone dependent. So women before, in the perimenopausal, menopausal state should really flex into ketosis in a healthy way. And I call that the Keto-Green way more often. So what that means is intermittent fasting, no more snacking, healthy fats, high quality protein, and lots of low carbohydrate, alkalinizing, dark green leafy vegetables, sprouts, herbs, and spices. That's foundational. We do that. We focus on morning rituals and evening rituals. All of these things are free, right? All of these things are free. And really to create a container in our lives for us to replenish, restore, repair, rejuvenate ourselves on a regular basis. And then as we need, add in the adaptogens. For me, it's my Mighty Maca Plus 30 superfoods combination that I've shown clinically improves DHEA and progesterone levels because it's detoxifying and supporting your adrenal glands. And this makes a difference. So we bring up we support the body's ability to make its own hormones and decrease inflammation, create insulin sensitivity. And we're creating this protocol for a healthy transition, healthy hormones. And then add in bioidentical progesterone. I use bioidentical progesterone and pregnenolone. I use my balance cream. I added tripeptides into it and some essential oils to combine what's most effective for me and for my patients. So I will use progesterone in the second half of the cycle, and I'll use it 5 to 6 days a week postmenopausally in most of my patients, or, taking 3 to 5 days off a month or 1 to 2 days off per week postmenopausally, and think that's game changing because we're filling the bucket from the top, right? And plugging the holes from the bottom. Mm-hmm. And so you come from this place of feeling restored, energetic, and it's better defense. That's the foundational piece. Then the other pieces that I add in, as part of that, continuing with the Keto-Green lifestyle, the other products and solutions I needed for myself to kind of just put the icing on the cake, baby. That's what we want.
Yeah. Say a couple of those supplements that you recommend.
So Mighty Maca Plus 30 superfoods. That's my foundational combination of adaptogenic support for energy, stamina, sex drive. And my balance cream, which has progesterone and pregnenolone in it. And then there's Julva.
I love that you use pregnenolone because, it's the top of the food chain. And when we have more product for our body to use, everything downstream is made better. And no one combining those two, that's brilliant. So balance cream with progesterone and pregnenolone.
Yes. Thank you. I know pregnenolone is like a forgotten hormone. I love it. I do better with the combination. And that's why I created the combination. Do better with the combination. And I had post-traumatic stress, and I'm now a 56-year-old, but I would say I've been using it since my 40s. And it's made a difference. So not every day, but now postmenopausally, I use it pretty much five days a week.
5 days a week. As a cream, where do you apply it?
I apply it, because I added tripeptide and some essential oils. I use it for my wrinkles, but you want to apply it anywhere you have thin skin. So where you see veins, it's really good for the décolletage area. Also because of, the combination. Okay. So if you're going to use a cream, let it do everything it can do, right? So it decreases the age spots and helps with skin tightening. So those are some benefits there. Inner arms, you can use it also on the lower abdomen, pelvic floor, clitoris to anus, where I tell my clients Julva, my DHEA cream with stem cells, Julva, you use that clitoris to anus. People don't talk about clitoral atrophy, the urethral atrophy causing bladder leaking, vaginal atrophy causing discomfort in sex, infections and prolapse, and anal fissures. And so you want to, I say that I'm a gynecologist, so most valuable real estate of your body, clitoris to anus, because when you have problems there, life is not good. Life is not good. We want to keep that area healthy.
Yeah, you just rattle off these words like you are a gynecologist. Do you know Betsy Greenleaf?
I love Betsy Greenleaf.
Okay.
Yes.
You remind me of her, like the vaginal summit.
Yes. Yeah. She's amazing. She's so fun. Actually was on the phone with her chatting yesterday.
Good. Yeah, she was just in the vaginal summit and then posted something about how social media hated her because she was using that word. I'm like, yeah, I could see that. Okay, so we have Mighty Maca plus 30 superfoods, balanced cream that has progesterone and pregnenolone, and then Jova. I mean, as a superfood, you could use that daily no matter what your scenario is. When would you use the balanced cream versus the Jova?
So the Julva, because progesterone and pregnenolone, depends on your cycle. For menstruating women, the luteal phase. So from after ovulation until the menses starts typically, or day 14
So it's
to
kind of like
28.
day 7, 14-ish.
Well, if usually for around 14 days. So for some, if pregnancy is a concern, always start after ovulation. And typically we'll start progesterone after ovulation. So around day 14. And then if you have some of my clients had only had one good week a month. And so I would start their progesterone cream around day 8. So, and then they would use it until day 28 or until their period started. And, that can just reboot their system, really help them, again, fill the tank, but also using the Mighty Maca superfoods to get your body to detoxify toxic estrogens, clean up the liver, right? Support liver detoxification, kidney detoxification, and giving those adaptogens, the combination of adaptogens that I put in there to help empower your body's own natural hormone production and decrease inflammation. When we're body's constantly fighting inflammation, we're always going to be lagging behind. So we get rid of inflammation, our body can repair, restore, rebuild, regenerate, rejuvenate. And that's where I think that makes a difference. So the Julva, I use it every day. I use Julva every day. Now I created a lip duo. Dr. Kylie, you're going to love it, because I was telling my clients, use the Julva for your lower lips on your upper lips to decrease those. I'd been using it there to get rid of any lipstick bleeds, the little wrinkles that come in your mouth, and my Christian Dior red would bleed. And I was like, oh no, we're not having that. It's terrible. This was over a decade ago. So I started using Julva on my lips, and my clients were like, I can't use the same formula for down there up here. I'm like, you actually can, but let me see if I can come up with something better for here. So I created a Kiss formula, Julva Kiss. And so I say at the Girlfriend Doctor, we take care of your lips above and below your hips.
That's cute. Julva Kiss. Okay, where can they find these supplements?
At my website, dranna.com. Yeah, also on Amazon. DRANNA.com, and also available on Amazon. But definitely come to my website because I have so much free content and information about each of the products. And
yeah, definitely look into the content and the information, because you don't just want to be jumping in and taking progesterone and DHEA when you don't need to.
Yes.
And then your book.
Yes, MenuPause. So MenuPause is 5 different menu plans that each pause something. So the first is Keto-Green Extreme, but we're pausing all the autoimmune aggravating foods. So pausing nightshades and peppers. So, and it's with intermittent fasting. It's the, healthy, high quality fats, good protein, and low carbohydrate, good blend of detoxifying greens. So, and it's easy to make these recipes. So that's the first plan. The second is a plant-based plan, because many plant-based eaters don't get enough protein and fat and are getting way too much carbs. So I want to show them how to do it in a healthy way. Plus, everyone should go plant-based for each of the plans are only 6 days, but should do a week of plant-based, periodically to diversify your gut microbiome, support the gut microbial diversity, and also get rid of constipation, adding in good healthy fiber, and that's really important. The third plan is a carnivore-ish plan, and I pause all vegetables in that plan. And that's really specific, especially if you eat vegetables and you bloat up, you've got small intestinal bowel overgrowth, you're dealing with eczema, skin disorders, we really have to decrease anything that could be attacking your own system, your own lining. So we go carnivore for a short time, and sometimes you need to be on that longer. But the thing is, we're bouncing through these plans to see what fits us now at this moment. Doing the same thing, getting caught and stuck in a camp and, for too long is just not healthy, especially not for women. So the fourth plan is a cleanse plan, and the fifth plan is a carb up plan. Sometimes people have been so restricted for too long, we need to actually add carbs back. And that's a good thing. You want that flexibility. And each plan is only 6 days, Dr. Kylie, because, there's that 7th day to explore, to have fun. And we can do anything for 6 days. It really opens the door to everyone who's kind of been resistant to, trying food as medicine, because it can seem so complicated. Each of these plans are laid out. This is what you eat day 1 through day 6. Do your best. You can eat leftovers and make it easy for yourself, so you're not cooking, 12 different meals or whatever, but you can really make it as simple as possible. And you can supplement with a Keto-Green shake and if you need to. So we really want to make it I wanted to make it as easy, simple, and effective as possible. It's pretty amazing. So it's been fun.
I would have never guessed that that's what the book is about. That's brilliant.
Thank you.
Going through, because people will do keto and they'll do it for 4 years, or they'll go carnivore, and that's how they're going to be forever. I'm like, no, we're cyclical. We are women.
Yes.
So cycling our food is the same thing as cycling our hormones. So 6 days, I could do that. I might even try that.
Yes, you can do it. You can do it. And I'd love to hear your feedback.
And then rotate through.
Mm-hmm.
That's so cool. Okay, guys, MenuPause, MENU, pause, PAUSE. You can buy Dr. Anna Cabeca's book on any platform, Amazon included, and go grab it and see what diet is right for you at this point in your life. Brilliant.
Thank you.
All right, Dr. Anna, be sure to go check her out at dranna.com and share this episode with your friends, because you all know somebody who's going through menopause or puberty, and we all know women. Women need to hear this, especially if you have that friend that's been keto for 5 years, or you always hear I did keto for 6 months and then my weight loss plateaued. Well, maybe that was great 6 months for you, but now it's time to do something different.
Exactly.
So walk you through that in her book, MenuPause.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, so good. Thank you. Wasn't that just loads of gold? Keep the gold coming by grabbing my book on Amazon, Why Are My Labs Normal? Go grab it, let me know you love it, and appreciate the knowledge by leaving a review, both for the book and for this podcast. Share it on your social media too. I'm here to help. Dr. Kylie.